Before we start today's video, check out our merch shop, linked in the description down below. Use code Ahsoka in all caps to get $7 off your order. May the Force be with you, and enjoy the vid.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing some new, kind of not necessarily reveals, but a few details that we may know about the upcoming Star Wars The Acolyte with a possible potential Season 2. We're going to go ahead, we're going to hop right on into it, break it all down for you guys, everything that we know and everything that we're anticipating right now. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. Yeah, okay, so in this video we are going to be taking a quick read from IGN.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there, as well as an overall garnering source. So maybe, as you can tell by the thumbnail or by the title of this video, or kind of a bit in that prologue there, Star Wars needs an Acolyte Season 2, and here is why. Coming from IGN.com as a specific source, this isn't necessarily an opinionated kind of video necessarily. Of course, you know, for my own thoughts and opinions, by which I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking with your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Of course, I think that an Acolyte Season 2 would be cool, but if I'm also being 110% transparent and honest with you guys, I haven't actually finished the first season, so let that be known. Anyway, as I had mentioned, using IGN as an overall source here, because there are actual sources and other articles that are being written about a possible potential Acolyte Season 2, and also there have been a few eyebrow raises, especially within the last like 24-48 hours here, as Lucasfilm / Star Wars had made an official announcement post, by which I'll discuss in another separate feature video here on the channel in more detail and in more depth here about the upcoming D23 announcement event that goes on between August 9th and the 11th. This is where we're anticipating to see a lot of new Star Wars announcements come up. So as I had mentioned, Star Wars / Lucasfilm made an announcement, or like a post announcement, saying that the main villain, who's the stranger from the Acolyte played by Manny Jacinto, is going to be a guest speaker at one of their panels for D23. Though, as I had mentioned, that's left a lot of fans and critics and just kind of everybody out there like a few eyebrow raises out there, like, okay, maybe they're actually like setting things up and ramping up for an official announcement of an Acolyte Season 2. Like, it may be all we could very well know is that it's currently filming and in production right now, but you know, let it be known, I haven't heard anything about that. So, as their article reads, there were of course some bumps within the road, but by and large, the Acolyte really struck us. We love Star Wars, but it's been a while since the story felt fresh, regardless of how much we adore Andor too, and the Mandoverse, of course. The nature of their job means that they watch a silly amount of movies and TV shows, so having any series that leaves them excitingly thinking new episodes today is a win. That's not to say that there hasn't been remarkable television both in and outside the Disneyverse. Again, we also think that Andor walks on water there. It's just that it's so rare that something about the franchise feels new. It doesn't necessarily feel so connected to the movies in that kind of sense. And The Acolyte does that by a long stretch, taking place easily 100 years before the events of the prequels. You're dealing with all new characters and all new story. We watched a lightsaber, the symbol of trust that Master Soul offers to Osha as a child, bleeding as a protagonist, fall to the dark side in real time, for crying out loud. It's something that IGN really liked. There's nothing wrong with being comfy though, however. We also think that the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is essentially pointless, but that's IGN talking, mind you, and we still had a perfectly pleasant time while we were on the ride with that show. But if a story had a perfectly pleasant time while we were on that ride and, feeling overall refreshing, it isn't exhilarating when there is simply so many of them to wade through. It's for this very reason that Star Wars needs a second season of The Acolyte. The idea of something set in the past shaking up a franchise feels antithetical, but The Acolyte explores aspects of a galaxy far, far away that Star Wars has barely touched on before now. The creator of Leslye Headland is nudging the audience to reevaluate what it knows about the Jedi, Sith, and Force users as a whole, while introducing something that canon Star Wars has barely even acknowledged within its past: romance. The franchise has had a chaste kiss here or there, or an absent husband, but you know, despite the cast including some of the, you know, hottest people in history, mind you, IGN talking, not us, and all of that, you know, loving Han and Leia idea and the idea of romantic love or longing has never really played a noteworthy part within a story of the franchise, beyond some whoopsie doodle sister smoochin' that we don't talk about. Of course, as I had mentioned, that's not the point necessarily. Mind you, also, this isn't me talking, this is just me reading from the source from IGN for another. But the whole idea of romance not being, you know, being an absent thing within Star Wars' franchise just doesn't feel as true to me. We may not, you know, be much of a romance fan on the whole, the article continues, but we'll be damned if it didn't have our attention on the Acolyte, in no small part thanks to Amanda Steinberg and Manny Jacinto absolutely electric chemistry. New ideas and some new genres as well are exactly the kind of things that long-running franchises need to survive. Not just because the same old stuff gets tiring, but because you'll never reach new fans if you're constantly repeating the same song, essentially. We need something to pull out of that energy. The Acolyte finale left us with, so we sat down with Amanda Steinberg recently, who stars as both Osha and May, the twins in the series, to chat through some of the lore, the liberation and love that Osha has experienced in her descent to the Acolyte status. She reveals it feels so lovely to hear you put it when you put it that way, because that's how I think about it and how leslye Headland thinks about it too. Steinberg starts, I mean, it felt important to create somebody who didn't feel in true alignment with their power and who was having the very human experience of being afraid of their own power, of not knowing exactly where they belonged, a feeling of discomfort in self and disconnection from the Force as well, and all of that being due to a lifelong relationship to suppressing her own emotions. Ending that quote right there. It's exactly what kind of, you know, Anakin's whole arc is. I think at the same time, arguably, I think a lot of you out there are going to agree with me on that forefront. Overall, peeling back here from this article, of which, as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'll have it linked in the description down below because they go on and on about it. It's the typical IGN kind of review, you know, having to go up against the fans and kind of just wrongly, not reviewing, but wrongly scoring stuff necessarily. I am for an Acolyte Season 2, as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, but as I had also mentioned, I haven't finished the first season, so take that how you will. Of course, I do plan on getting around to it, and I do know a lot of the stuff and things that do happen throughout it, but that's besides the point. I think the point is that the Acolyte needs a Season 2 because there's a story to tell. Simple as that. Not because there's a love and romance and all of that BS that IGN in their article is talking about, but because there's simply a story to tell. Anyway, guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.